Let's go straight to Hani. Mahmoud is in Deir al-Balah in central Gaza. And Hani, so you're going to talk to me about this recent attack in al-Nusayrat. What exactly has happened?
Well, Israeli airstrikes continue to pound across the central area, mainly concentrated on the al-Nusayrat refugee camp, the northern camp. This is mainly, or better known among residents as the new camp, but we're talking about this evolving story coming from this particular refugee camp where 7 people confirmed reported killed in an attack on a residential home that we're sheltering in. This particular family is a displaced family from northern Gaza, has been sheltering inside this residential home for the past months. 7 of the family members were killed. Others are missing and trapped under the rubble of the bombed homes. The Israeli military, since early hours of this morning, carried out more than 15 air attacks across the central area, targeting residential buildings, residential towers, mosques, and on other public facilities, just causing further civilian casualties and pushing more people. Massive number of people now are taking the streets, leaving the areas that have been that are targeted by the Israeli military, and the other areas that have been warned by the Israeli military as well. What's really shocking about this is the little time that is being given to people to evacuate these areas, which means the Israeli military started carrying out these attacks at early hours of this morning, and during the attacks started phone calls warning people in the area. So just little time given to people to leave, let alone carry any of their belongings with them, pushing them into temporary shelters in the area, already overcrowded spaces in a al-Nusayrat refugee camp. But again, the tragedy of this place, people who've been ordered to evacuate certain areas to avoid being bombed, are the ones who are getting killed right now inside the very residential homes and towers that they've been sheltering in for the past months. On separate attacks, the Israeli military also carried other massive air attacks in northern part of the Strip, particularly in Beit Lahia and Jabalia. 4 people reported killed in these attacks, another one in Gaza City, and also here in the city of Hani.
And Hani, to add to people's misery is the weather. What is the latest on the humanitarian situation there now that the weather's turning colder and it's been raining?
Well, as of this moment, it's a multi-layered tragedies and suffering, and the weather conditions, the deliberate obstruction of humanitarian aid reaching to areas that are much needed right now for them to receive a humanitarian aid, particularly in northern Gaza, Kamal Adwan Hospital and Beit Lahia, Jabalia refugee camp, the entire northern part of the Strip. Much needed humanitarian aid are not reaching these areas. UNRWA itself, it tried more than 80 times. There are 80 attempts registered by UNRWA that have been rejected by the Israeli military to deliver much needed aid to northern part of the Strip. We're talking about basic needs such as food supplies, water, and medical supplies needed for the hospital, needed for the estimated 70,000 civilians who are trapped in the besieged northern part of the Strip. There is a flour crisis. People do not have proper access to these basic needs, the flour, the bread. And as of this moment, there isn't any meaningful or any sufficient amount of aid inside the northern part of the Strip. The other part of Gaza is already struggling on a daily basis. On our way to our broadcasting point, we could clearly see the long queues for people in front of the only handful bakeries that are operational here. And the reason not many bakeries are operational in the central part of the Gaza Strip because of the flour crisis. Not enough flour available to run these bakeries. Also the fuel crisis that are deepening the crisis in terms of availability. Other parts of the Strip, it's not a question of money as much as a question of availability. Don't forget, for the past months and since the the full closure of the Rafah crossings, as well as the partial opening of Karm Abu Salim, not enough amount of food aid and supplies are getting into the Gaza Strip, just making it very difficult for people. We have examples here of people living day to day. Other people are sleeping and going into their days without any sort of food whatsoever. We started seeing the signs of starvation, signs of famine is spreading in major parts of the central area, particularly when it comes to overcrowded displacement camps here in Deir al-Balah or in al-Nusayrat or in al-Mawasi evacuation zone. The rain is also deepening the crisis, as many people not only now is struggling for daily essentials, but also struggling to find improvised repair for the damage that had been caused to their tents, particularly those who set up their makeshift tents near the coastal line. The rising tides, the strong wind and rainfall damaged close to 10,000 of the tents, just pushing people into further internal displacement.
Okay, thank you for that. Hani Mahmoud there for us in Deir al-Balah in central Gaza.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.